Many blessings, my loves. My name is Rebecca, and this is my new moon report for Pillars of the Moon. So, as you'll see, I've got my eclipse dragons with me. We are well and truly in eclipse season, and yes, so the new moon is happening this evening at 44 minutes past midnight in the GMT time zone. So yeah, tonight as I go to bed, the new moon will be turning. So the full moon, which will be happening in 2 weeks, will be a lunar eclipse. And then the new moon after that, in a month's time from now, will be a solar eclipse. So we are embarking on this powerful, shifting, changing energies right now. And yeah, we've had Mars go direct earlier this week. And I'm sure many of you have felt a shift in energy this week. It's like I felt like this huge momentum shift of like, things have felt really fast, like everything has been increasing in speed and yeah, there's been a lot of kind of like eruptive energy and frustration energy as well in the field, and lots of creative energy, lots of like ideas and passions and kind of things starting to move, and then at the same time like needing to channel them into something so we don't erupt and like, you know what I mean? So it's a big shift in energy with Mars going forward. He's in Gemini, so he will move forward into Cancer stars and then will come into opposition with Pluto again. So, yeah, we remember that from last time. So it's another returning of that energy. And yeah, and then Venus will be going retrograde just after the new moon. So we'll talk a bit about that today as well. I want to start by lighting my beautiful candle. Um, yeah, just to create a beautiful container for us for this reading. Reading for this, well, it is a reading, isn't it? It's a report. Um, put this on my safe. And yeah, so giving thanks to the four guardians at the gates of the four royal stars, Aldebaran, Regulus, Antares, and Fomalhaut, and celebrating the Golden Gate of the gods in Sagittarius and the Silver Gate in Gemini Orion, just creating this beautiful arc of mother's milk energy coming all the way from Orion to Ophiuchus, the heavenly star milk, and then creating an arc all the way from Aquarius, where our new moon is, and Capricornus, and drawing a beautiful mother father arc that goes over to Cancer and Leo, just surrounding us in this cross of energy, this cross of celestial holding and support, feeling this big web of love around us in our hearts, to our left and our right, above and below, really celebrating us being here today and yeah, sharing all of this magical star wisdom. So, yes, welcome everyone. Just felt important to do that today. I'm going to share a screen with you all so you can see my overview for this new cycle. Here we go. Right, you should be able to see that now. So, yeah, so we've got our new moon in Aquarius, which will be happening, like I said, 28th of the 2nd at 1:45 in the morning. And then, yeah, Venus goes retrograde on the 2nd of March. And then we have our first quarter moon in Taurus. That's on the 6th of March, and that will be with Jupiter. And then we have our sun moving into Pisces on the 12th of March. And then that leads us into our full moon lunar eclipse. I've written in Virgo because that's where our south node is. But the moon is right on the cusp. It's on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. So it contains both of the energies of Leo and Virgo. And it's a really powerful full moon coming up. So yeah, I will do a separate video on that. I'm going to dive mostly into the new moon today. Just burning a bit of incense as well to clear the energy. Yeah, so we've got Mercury retrograde will be happening as well on the 15th of March. Mercury and Venus are both in Pisces for their retrograde. So we've got a real Pisces party, especially now Saturn is crossing into Pisces as well, and Neptune is there and our North Node. And we've got our eclipses on this energy. So yeah, there's a lot of Pisces energy in the air. We have our equinox coming on the 20th of March. So for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we're celebrating Ostara, the beginning of spring, which is lovely. We can definitely see the daffodils now. So spring is definitely on her way. And in the Southern Hemisphere, you're celebrating autumn equinox. And it's this time of equilibrium, the equal day and equal night, the two equal circles, so that is contained within this cycle. And also in this cycle, we have Venus will be having her star point. She will be joining with the Sun in her retrograde. So it's her inferior conjunction in retrograde with the Sun, one of her star points. And yeah, connecting to Venus's cycle. So when she's finished her retrograde, when she starts moving forward again, we'll have a look at that at Stellarium in a minute, so we can look at the dates for that. So yeah, when she starts moving forward again, she's going to be coming as our morning star. So it's shifting her energy as she, appears as our dawn rising star, which is beautiful change for her. So some amazing things that have been coming up for me. I know I've shared with some of you that I had this amazing serpent dream about this white snake. I've been connecting a lot with like the energy of the year of the snake and the descent and the life and the death and the rebirth that comes with like the serpent energy, but also the Venusian energy, and also the cyclical nature of the womb and our cycles and that seasons that we go through, those of us who are bleeding, and the seasons of our life as well, and like the spring, summer, autumn, winter of our life, and how this cycle, this in my dream, that the white snake was like making this Fibonacci spiral that went all the way around these eggs, and it was like, yeah, a lot of my work I feel this year is going to be around this fertility, and the eggs and creativity. And so, yeah, I've got a lot of Pisces in my chart, as some of you know, so it's going to be an interesting year. And so that star point will be happening on the 22nd. And the last quarter moon will be that day as well. And actually, the moon is on the galactic center in Sagittarius that day. So that's a really potent day, the 22nd of March. Um, yeah, so and then that leads us up into our next solar eclipse on the next new moon after that. So yeah, big energies, my darling friends. So let's go into the live sky. Let's have a look at all of the things. So I have tried to record this video a few times today. I keep getting pulled into rabbit holes and going off on tangents about things. Um, yeah, which is quite funny, really. It's very much the energy, isn't it? Like the times we are in, getting lost in the abyss of things. So yeah, where am I going? So we're going to look at 0, 20, 44. Going to look at the new moon to begin with. Whoop. There we go. This is going to be tonight. So yeah, Sun and Moon together in Aquarius. We've also got Ceres here as well. Ceres is in Aquarius. And you can see Saturn is, yeah, really coming close to these stars of Pisces now, really moving. The boundaries of, the NASA constellation boundaries say that he's still in Aquarius, but, we can see that Saturn is aligning to these first stars of Pisces. So very much feeling the energy of Saturn in Pisces. Lots of yeah, watery dreams. Also, we've got Mercury, Neptune here, Venus here, and we know that we've got our North Node here. So that's and we've got Chiron here as well, and of course, let's not forget Eris. So we've got a lot of energy here in Pisces at the moment. But the new moon is here. So let's talk a little bit about this. So we've got the new moon in Aquarius. So beautiful energy to be working with. And I feel like, yeah, this could bring a lot of change actually. It could bring a lot of shifts. Aquarius ruled by Uranus. We've got Uranus is over in Taurus on that cusp here, really on that gateway into the stars of Taurus. So Uranus is really kind of like at this place of embarking on a new Earth. Like the early signs of Taurus to me, it feels like a young Earth, like an innocent Earth, like a new beginning for the Earth, the physical being, Taurus being the Earth, and Uranus bringing, yeah, radical shifts and changes. So I feel like the Earth, as a living being, will be going through radical shifts and changes at this time. Yeah, and we've got Jupiter there as well. So Jupiter will be in square to this new moon. So the energy this week has been quite fast paced with the Aquarius energy is very electric with the sun in Aquarius. And then of course we've had Mars going forward over in Gemini. So there's lots of kind of fast, airy kind of electric energy going around, lots of inspiration, lots of ideas, lots of revolutions, kind of like uniqueness, lots of our own unique flavors coming up and through. Um, but something that was really jumping out at me, one of the rabbit holes that I went down for a long time today, and I had to pull myself out of it, was the Eridanus River. So I know some of you are quite acquainted with this river, the Eridanus, River of Stars. Yes, so this star is actually the last star of the river, or the first, depending which way you look at it. But this star is called Achernar. Achernar. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, and so this star means the end of the river. So it's very interesting because at the end of the river, we quite often associate, the river merging with the ocean, to merging with something greater, merging with the great cosmic ocean. And yeah, so the end of a river feels like a crossing over, or a merging with a divine cosmic energy that's very infinite, that is going to take us into all of this Pisces energy that's coming. So yeah, so that it felt like I was, yeah, I've been rabbit holing it into the mythologies of all of this. So I'm not going to go take you on too deep of a journey with it, because I don't want you to get stuck down a rabbit hole either. But interestingly, at the end of the river, there is a rabbit. Lepers. So yeah, isn't that funny? I was talking about the rabbit hole that I went down, and I ended up at a rabbit. So yes, so trying to refocus. So yeah, the silver gate of reincarnation is here, at Orion's hand. And so this is where Orion is where the river ends. So could it be like a channel of reincarnation? Could it be a cosmic eternal river? Or I've been reading into stories of, was it an actual river? Did it represent an actual river in the world? And was it connected to Eridu, which was like one of the first ever um, places to be inhibited? So I mean, there's a lot in there, so I'll leave that there for you to kind of dive into as you wish. But there's an energy of the end of the river with this new moon, which joins to the ocean. We've got our dolphins here, we've got our whales and our fish, and all of the watery energies, the water bearer and Pisces and Capricorn, the goatfish, and there's lots of watery things around here. So this is really symbolic of the celestial ocean. So there's an energy here with this new moon of like, keeping in mind that this is the year of the snake, of really coming to the end of something. It's like the end of a river connected to fertility, creativity, or like a phase in our life that we're completing. And I feel like with this eclipse that's coming up, this lunar eclipse full moon, right on the cusp of Virgo and Leo, also feels like a shifting in energy. It's like a changing point, like an ending of an old phase to move into a new one. So that's kind of been the energy that I've been really feeling with all this. Yeah, so and then I wanted to talk about Venus, and let's talk about her. She goes obviously retrograde just after the new moon. So here we have Venus in Pisces, you can see. So I'm going to just click forward in a few days so you can see now she's starting to go backwards after the second. And yeah, so let's just go to her star point. This is on the 22nd when she's with the sun. Mercury's here as well. So this is just after the equinox. So this is a really such a powerful point in time, and I'm going to keep going as well. So, she's having her cazimi with the sun, and she's going to keep going, and she's going to meet with Saturn. And you can see she's going to, oh, where's she gone? She's going to start moving forward again, beginning of March with Saturn. So what that's made me feel, not beginning of March, sorry, beginning of April, she's moving forward. In April, she's starting to move forward again. You can see that she's with Saturn. Then she gets into May and she's crossing back over Saturn, so that she's got this journey with Saturn, after her cazimi with the sun. And interestingly, 8 years ago, because we know Venus has like 8 year cycles, 8 years ago in 2017, Saturn was at the galactic center, so isn't it interesting that on her cazimi day, which was the 22nd of March, let's just go back, whee, all the way back, 22nd of March, the moon, guess where the moon is? In the galactic center. Ah! I love these synchronicities. They're so cool, aren't they? Yeah, so, and it's a waning moon. This is a last quarter. This is at Shaula. This is an ending of something. Like I've said, this whole cycle, this whole eclipse season, it's the shedding of an old skin. That's what it feels like. It's kind of like, yeah, this is it's a completion of an old story, an old phase, an old part of us that we're now ready to, complete and integrate and move on from and take the skin off, put the skin down and move on, So, and I do feel like it is connected to Venus, obviously, because Venus retrograde is really sandwiched between these, and Mercury retrograde too in this eclipse season. And Saturn, Venus's connection to Saturn. So, I feel like when Venus and Saturn come together, it can bring like financial limitations and like feelings of restrictions around our creativity. It can bring tension, within our relationships. It can also bring like feelings around sadness in our heart, feeling isolated, maybe feeling a bit depressed or not depressed. Venus and Saturn together is kind of like can also feel like a bit of a reality check in regards to our money and our resources and our creative projects and how we're relating to our in our relationships. So this Venus retrograde, it could be bringing up a lot around all of those things. So I also felt like there was a journey of Venus coming, like as she's coming back to Saturn, it's like she has to return back to mature. So part of her needs to mature before she can move forward, So there's like a necessity of getting a bit real about her resources and her creativity and her heart, and really like, yeah, growing up. Feels like there's a maturation here that's happening so that she can rise again, and ascend again as the morning star. So this is Venus's journey over the next 40 days, 40 so days. Yeah, and Venus in Pisces is super dreamy, super creative. It's like the mermaid energy. It's so Venus will be feeling very sensitive, very kind of reflective, very compassionate. And because we've got Neptune here as well, so Neptune is right with the sun and she's on this cazimi with Mercury. And so Venus and Neptune together, it's so much love, like cosmic love, like universal love. It's like the most beautiful, creative, cosmic union energy, with these. with these two, with all these energies coming together in Pisces. And I feel like, yeah, it feels like an energy of Venus in her reflective state, in her retrograde, is really having to reflect on her creativity, reflect on her desires and the things that she wants to create, and her heart and her unions and her partnerships and all of the ways that she, creates things in this world. And Saturn and this union with Saturn is really helping her to create more structures around that creativity, so that she can be more resourced and um yeah, maybe have more longevity with the creativity as well. Um, yeah, so that's all I'm going to share about Venus, I think, for now. Yeah, and then I wanted to talk about Urania. So certain asteroids come to me at certain times. She's been spoke about quite a lot recently. Like, oh, yeah. So what date have I got on here? 22nd. So let's just change. So we're going to pop, I'm going to pop in Pluto as well. Let's see if it will bring up both of them at the same time. Urania's gone now. Come back, Urania. We knew that she was there. So basically what I wanted to say is, Urania around the time of this new moon is in Sagittarius. So Urania is an asteroid and she is, yeah, connected to, like, she's a goddess in Greek mythology, but she's the granddaughter of Uranus. And yeah, she's connected to astronomy and astrology and fortune telling, by reading the stars. And I'm like, oh, I love her. So I've been journeying a bit with her and yeah, really connected to her energy. And yeah, like I've found like she's got a part to play in these eclipses. Like I'll show you in the charts in a moment that she she's joining with, by the time we get to the full moon, she will be quite close to Pluto and she'll be making a grand trine aspect that she'll be, her and Pluto will be together and they'll be trining the south node in Virgo and also her grandfather, Uranus, on that cusp of Taurus. So she's a fortune teller by reading the stars, like I was like, wow, this is really cool. So I feel like Urania has got a massive part to play in what she's bringing to these eclipses. So let's move into the new moon chart so I can have a little look. I don't think I've got her in here. I've got her in some of the other charts, but let's just have a little draw. So yeah, we've got 11 degrees of Aquarius for our new moon, which is here. And obviously, Saturn is coming up in my chart at Aquarius, but we know that he's also on the cusp coming more into Pisces now. He's aligning to those stars of Pisces. We've got a conjunction with Mercury, we've got the North Node, and we've got Neptune all in Pisces here. We've got Venus in Pisces, and we've got Chiron and Eris in Pisces. Look at all of that Pisces fun. So yeah, there's like an energy of, because obviously we've got Ceres here as well in Aquarius. So I feel like we'll be nurtured by our uniqueness, our unique gifts, that want to come through. And let's just talk about this square to Jupiter. So I'm going to get my highlighter for you. So you can see the new moon here. Oops. There we go. That's the new moon. And we've got a square coming into Jupiter. So, we're going to be feeling a tension or a challenge as the squares bring, in regards to our resources, our money, creativity, and expansion. I feel like the challenge could be, around money. Challenge could be around how much we're spending, or how much we would like to have, or also to do with self-worth and our body image. not valuing ourselves, not loving our body, or even just feeling like, so Aquarius can feel quite out of the crowd in a way, like even though they're very humanitarian in their way, they like to feel this sense of equity with all this balance and this kind of working together as a whole. There's also this kind of can feel like they're the outsiders or the lone wolf, and they really, because they might feel different or like a bit radical or alien, so there could be stuff coming up with this square, around our self-worth and valuing ourselves as we are, valuing our uniqueness and all our quirkiness, and that might be where the challenge is. So yeah, so I wanted to, we're going to draw, what we're going to draw now. So let's just rub that one out. I feel as well, so with Venus about to go retrograde, so at the moment, you can see, we look around, other than the nodes, which are always going that way, there's no planets that are going retrograde at the time of the new moon. So we know that's going to change because Venus is about to go retrograde, but she'll be the only one until Mercury goes retrograde. Um, yeah, so there's an energy of like our creativity, is having to review our passions, our desires, all the things that we love, all of our relationships, they're going to be going into review. So at the time of this new moon, we are really facing like an element of like the end of the ocean, um, the end of the river, sorry, that it's like an end of a chapter, so we may be feeling things shifting, things changing, and a feeling like we need to let go of some things, that we need to make some changes in our life. So Mars is now going direct in Gemini. We'll talk about you for a bit, shall we? And there's this grand trine that's happening with Vesta in Libra, super devoted to balance and harmony. And then we've got Saturn and Mercury here on this Pisces cusp. So this could feel like there's a lot of like inspiration, a lot of devotion to really start creating and networking and sharing, what it is we want to create. At the same time, Saturn moving into Pisces can bring a lot of like dissolving of structures that aren't working. This feeling of like parts of us just having to transform, transmute. It could be really like feeling like we need to find some discipline for our spiritual practices with this journey, with Saturn moving into Pisces. So this trine here, it's a good fast moving trine with lots of nice energy to be working with, but I feel like we could really be focusing this energy on balancing, being devoted, Vesta, to balancing our thoughts and our minds and um our drive and our ambition with this kind of energy with Mars into Saturn on this cusp, into a spiritual practice, because look, we've got Mercury here as well. So it's Mercury trine Mars, and I'm feeling this is like an intrine to Vesta. So this is really about being devoted to finding harmony, equilibrium, and balance within our thoughts, within our mind, that our thoughts create our reality, Mercury and Saturn, so right next to our north node, which is where our solar eclipse is going to be, this is our destiny now, to really focus, to really have, it's our responsibility to really take care of our thoughts and our mind, and to um, practice it like a dynamic practice of it, even like every day, like a routine. It feels like a kind of routine practice of this balance and this devotion. So we've got like yoga, meditation, all of the calming, like sound therapy, like music. Yeah, so creative. Like if you're a musician at this time, you're just going to be wow. I can imagine all these amazing new songs coming in, and if you're an artist, lots of kind of like amazing new art pieces coming, but we're all artists in different ways, right? So I think creatively it's just finding your niche, finding your channel, and using that energy to really weave a new weave, really explore like what it is you want to create, what we want to create. Um, yeah, so that's that grand trine. Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit as well about ooh, let's get my marker back again. So we've got obviously we know that Pluto is in Capricorn. Pluto is with Pallas Athena and is making a trine to Black Moon Lilith, who's in Virgo. So this is where our lunar eclipse is going to be in 2 weeks here on this cusp. So we can see that the South Node will be moving into Leo pretty soon. So yeah, this eclipse journey, there's a lot to be let go of. I see that the South Node, as many astrologers do, it's like it's the tail of the dragon. So it's our comfort zone. It's where we can get cozy and be like, yeah, I know this, I've done this, this is my thing. This is where I can, it's easy peasy. I've done this for lifetimes kind of thing. And we can use that as a tool, to help us move forward towards our north node. But ultimately, if we rely too much on the south node and we never kind of step out of the comfort zone, we never really get to where we want to be. So I feel like Pluto in this trine to Black Moon Lilith and the south node, it's really looking about fears around, letting go of the past, or even like the shadows that are connected to, the work that comes sometimes with the Virgo energy, the service, always being of service, always giving, always um like yeah, being really detail focused. We could be very analytical, very focused on the details and getting it right, and be really hard on ourselves when we get it wrong. Like this is really kind of connected to the inner critic, the way that we kind of analyze situations, analyze, things that are happening, and kind of can get stuck in the shadows of perfecting it, and then never quite living up to our own expectations. So um I feel like with Venus and all this Pisces energy in this Pisces, and especially with Mercury in Pisces as well, that our thoughts we could be feeling super sensitive, So just to keep that in mind, that there's a lot of sensitivity. People, me included, may be feeling more sensitive than normal, to the things that we people say. I definitely have been feeling the last few days like my brain is just like analyzing everything, overthinking everything, like getting really triggered about things and kind of having to then really reflect on those things, So the mind could be very active in that kind of empathic, spongy way, like taking in other people's things and is that mine or is that yours? Where does that come from? And like, you know what I mean? It's very deep, very kind of spiritual energy with the Pisces vibes going on. So yeah, with this shadow over here with Black Moon, Lilith, and Virgo, you're getting stuck in the details of it all, like trying to figure it all out and get it right, and make sure that we come out on top and that we. But there's a trine here too, Pluto, So there's an energy of transforming of that is helping us to move through that. And we know that the South Node is also in trine to Uranus, which I've spoke about already on this Aries Taurus cusp. So and I wanted to say as well, while we were here, while we were talking about these energies, like the energy of Uranus and Pluto, like holding these gates. I feel like, so we know, let me see if I've got um first quarter moon. I'll go back here. So yeah, we know that we've got Urania is around about here in the chart. So at the time of the full moon, I think I've got her in the full moon chart. Yeah, she's coming closer and closer to Pluto. So yeah, at the time of the last quarter moon, when Venus is in her star point, look, Urania is getting so close to Pluto. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because, this degree where they're at, this is the last quarter moon chart, by the way, in case you're wondering where I've gone. Yeah, this last quarter moon chart on the 22nd, you know, Urania, the fortune teller of the stars and the cosmos, is right next to Pluto, and this degree of the sky between Sagittarius and Capricorn, to me, feels like it beholds the wisdom of the cosmic order of the universe. It's like it's the bringing together of all of the visionary wisdom of Sagittarius and bringing it together with the architect of Capricorn, so there's like a meeting of cosmic time here, cosmic timekeeping, which is what Urania does. She tells the future by mapping the stars and the cosmos. In one mythology, I read that she even made the constellations, but whatever. So she's with Pluto and she's with Pallas Athena. So there's a sense of justice here as well, and kind of, yeah, like working for like the greater good, and um so there's the trine here. Look, now Uranus is at 0 degrees of Taurus in my chart. And this trine is, yeah, with the south node. Whoops. So this is after the eclipse, that she's coming really close to him like this, to Pluto. And so what we have here, like, is incredibly profound, because what I felt was like, you know, Uranus is Urania's grandfather, so their energies are very complementary of one another. So it feels like a highly transformative energy, a cosmic, astronomical wisdom that is very transformative for the collective, in trine to Uranus. And obviously, we've got all of these friends sandwiched in between them, this Pisces party with the North Node. So this is just before the solar eclipse that she's really getting close to Pluto. And I feel what this is going to bring, I'm going to be a fortune teller just like Urania here. Like it's like the wisdom of the cosmos, like astronomy, and like the digging up of the old, with the Capricorn energy with Pluto. Like I feel like because Pluto likes to dig deep, so I feel like there could be like, in the world, like there's like a digging deep of like the old architecture, the old, yeah, like doing like, yeah, digging deep into the mud, like into the soil, like uncovering like lost astronomy, lost calendars, lost forms of timekeeping, and using that wisdom of the old, like some discoveries of the old ways. And I was getting visions of all of the old calendars all over the world, the Adam's calendar in South Africa, and Stonehenge and the pyramids, and all of the Newgrange in Ireland, and all of these old temples all around the world that contain these old calendars and these old time system mapping things, that these kind of things are going to be uncovered and researched and looked into more, which may unlock some secrets for our new world, Uranus, Taurus, the new world. So, and then we've got this trine to the south node in Virgo. So this is like the also connected to the past, all of the past lives, all of the karma, all of the past worlds. Like, so this feels like a lot's going to be uncovered astronomically with Urania here, around, could be like UFOs, like all these different kind of very extraterrestrial kind of energies, for this grand trine. So I really wanted to bring that in, because I feel like with Uranus and Pluto creating this kind of sandwich of planets up in Pisces and um, um, in Aquarius, it really is like this big cosmic ocean of possibilities of what we want to build. Saturn, the dream, Neptune, of our hearts, Venus, and our minds, Mercury, like, and all of that nurturing care of Aquarius and Ceres there. So wow. And then obviously we've got, well, there's a macabre in this chart as well. This is on Venus's star point day. So 22nd, last quarter moon. The last quarter moon will be in at the galactic center, as I said. But this other point of the macabre six-pointed star, guess what we've got again? We've got Mars, we've got Saturn, and we've got Vesta. Yeah, so and all of the stuff that I just shared about that trine, which is still active, on Venus star point day on the 22nd, it's kind of like these energies working together. I always connect like the macabre to the frequency of heaven on earth and this energy of unifying polarities, finding balance between opposing forces, to create more harmony. I have one of these in my birth chart, so I've looked really deep into it, and I love that this eclipse portal has got this energy entwined in it. So yeah, I'm just going to jump back to the new moon chart. I'm not sure if I want to go any deeper into the new moon. Um, I'm just going to quickly look at the first quarter moon. Um, so yeah, the first quarter moon will be in Taurus, as you can see, 22 degrees of Taurus. We've got another 22. That's the number, that day. The 22, let's see the synchronicity. The 22 is the day that Venus will go into her star point with the sun. Venus ruler is Venus is one of the places she rules is Taurus, so the moon at the first quarter, it will be at 22 degrees of Taurus conjunct Jupiter, and yeah, obviously in square as it always is to the sun at the first quarter, but the sun will be with Saturn right at the end here of Aquarius and Pisces cusp. So lots of cuspiness. We've got Uranus on that cusp of Taurus. We've got Saturn on that cusp of Pisces. We've got Pluto just on early Capricorn. We've got the South Node about to cusp into the South Node will be cusping into Leo soon. So it's really changeable energy, it feels, lots and lots of shifts coming through this eclipse. I keep saying that over and over again, so it must be important. It also feels like around like facing the unknown, jumping into the cosmic abyss of Pisces, and really exploring with this Sun and Saturn, feelings of sadness, feelings of depressions, feeling of isolation, feelings of not being part of the community in some way, not belonging. Oh, feels really deep, this first quarter moon energy. Like I said, I'm going to come back and do a whole report on the lunar eclipse, so I'm not going to go too deeply into that. I will show you just the chart here, the South Node in Virgo, and the moon is coming up right on the end of Leo in my chart. So yeah, we'll look in the live sky closer to the time, but it really is on that gateway between the two, which often reminds me of the strength card in the tarot. So in the strength card, you have an image of quite often a lion with its mouth open and the priestess holding the lion's mouth, or she's got the lion with her. So quite often it's a connection between the priestess and the lion in the strength card of the tarot, which for me represents this point in the sky, the crossover between Virgo and Leo. So it feels like this full moon lunar eclipse is going to require a lot of strength. And we can see this in this trine to Urania. Like, oh God, I'm so glad you're in the chart. Um, and Uranus down here. So yeah, this energy is strong. Like this is like astronomy. This is cosmic astronomical, yeah, energy. So yeah, I'll come back and do a bit more on that. It's getting late here now, so I'm going to log off for tonight. But yes, I'm so, so grateful for all of you for watching for all this time. And yeah, thank you so much for subscribing and following. And yeah, if you'd like to know more, just reach out. And yeah, blessed eclipse season, my darlings. Sending you so much love.